just so used to it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
What was that? Oh, it's looking at you? Yeah. Take one of yourself.
Continue our coverage of Day 8 of the Twin Cities Film Fest here from the lovely Showplace Icon Theater at the Shops at West End. And thank you very much to Florida Junk for providing our red carpet experience this evening. And joining us now, one of our final documentaries of tonight's show here at the festival, Mr. Will Francombe of The Penalty. What's going on, Will?
Not much. Very nice to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
And we really appreciate you bringing this documentary to us because you've been doing a lot of touring with this one, right?
Yeah, we've just been in Geneva last week, London. It's also showing today in the Czech Republic. So it's just really nice to have it here. Some of the filming takes place here, so it's really nice to bring it back to kind of part of the home of the film.
And tell everyone who's viewing what The Penalty is about.
So it's about 3 stories connected to the death penalty in the US. We were following one story in Ohio, one here, and one down in Florida. The story that was based here was a guy who was innocent on death row in Louisiana for 17 years. Before DNA proved that he was innocent. So we sort of were following his process of putting his life back together, and then we follow in Ohio a case of a lawyer who's trying to stop new execution methods with new experimental drugs, and then in Florida a family who are trying to decide what punishment they want for their daughter's murder.
When you have a documentary like this that is being shown all across the world, what do you think makes the story so international?
I think that there's quite a lot of focus internationally on the death penalty. I think people find it an interesting thing. A lot of the countries, this is the first time we've shown it in the US, and this is the first time that we've shown it in a country that has the death penalty. I think that for a lot of people, they're kind of fascinated by what keeps it going here. And I think there's a little bit of viewing it from abroad as being an American thing, you know, although it is obviously in other countries.
But this is your 3rd film, kind of along the subject matter, so I guess that technically makes you an expert filmmaker on this subject matter.
Yeah, I probably need to find something new to make fun about, if I'm honest.
No, actually, if you consider it a story that needs to be continued, that we need to continue to have told, obviously this resonates with you for some reason.
Sure, and I think, yeah, definitely, and I think that what happens is, for me, once you sort of are involved in that community and you're hearing stories from lawyers and you're sort of spreading around and just know people, you keep hearing stories that are interesting. And so I think for this one, you know, it was just, we found that these characters emerged through, and you know, this is very much a verite-based film, we're just following stories as they happen. We get very lucky that these stories really, interesting things happen within them. They weren't, you know, there was a lot of other stuff we filmed that didn't make it in. But yeah, I just think for me it's a really important issue. And I just, you know, it's hard to then look away once you know about it.
Well, when you have storylines like How to Make a Murderer on Netflix and things like that, do you see continuing to make films like this?
I might take a break just from one. Maybe I'll take one off, but I am talking to someone about making a little short about another death row zombie at the moment. But you know, criminal justice is really important, especially in this country. We have a lot of people in prison. There's, you know, I'm a US citizen as well as a British one, so, and I live in New York, so for me it's a story that affects, you know, I feel it is my story to tell as well. And I really think that, you know, the way that criminal justice is meted out in this country is there's a lot of issues with it, and I think that, you know, they're very captivating to the public. True crime is very much having a sort of hot moment at the moment, and so I think that, you know, these stories will continue to be told, and I'm sure I'll definitely do some again.
Now, as the director and the documentarian of these kinds of stories, what's the most difficult part? Is it finding the people to share their stories, or doing the actual traveling?
A bit of both. I mean, I basically, you know, because this is very low budget, we haven't been paying ourselves. We've been doing it for 4 years. It was all crowdfunded, and then just, you know, a few different grants and stuff. So it's basically me running around with a camera on my shoulder, radio mics on people, just seeing what's going to happen. Because it is that type of verite filmmaking, you just spend a lot of time shooting, and then trying to work out what that is going to become. Our editor is an amazing guy who has really taken the 1,000 hours of footage or whatever we've got and turned it into something I think that is really compelling and really moves along. And we really want this to be a documentary, but that feels like a drama. That you're finding things out, you're in the story, and you're discovering things as the people within the film discover it. So it's sort of happening to you as well.
And for everyone that's at home, they can find more information as is thepenaltyfilm.com. Is that correct?
That's perfect, exactly.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, we thank you very much for following all of these stories and bringing them into us and taking the controversy out for the public.
Thank you so much. Brilliant having me here. Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing your next film, and we encourage you to take a break.
Thank you. Yeah, I probably need it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's Will Francombe, the director of The Penalty, here on day 8 of the Twin Cities Film Fest. That and more coming up in just a few minutes. And enjoy your film, Will. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. Brilliant.
Can I get a